Let's do this amazing speech from Parliament from, what's his name, Nigel Farage. He is a European parliamentarian, and he is summing up the problem with Europe in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Listen.
But like communism, this has all gone badly wrong. And the EU Titanic has now hit the iceberg. It is a European Union of economic failure, of mass unemployment, of low growth. But worst of all, it's an EU with the economic prison of the euro. And this now poses huge dangers to the continent. We face the prospect of mass civil unrest, possibly even revolution, in some countries that are being driven into total and utter desperation. But there is perhaps an opportunity, there is perhaps some good news, that now a democratic rebellion has begun. It began in Finland last year, with the True Finns getting nearly 20% of the vote. And we're seeing in country after country new political movements on the right and the left making big scores. But that may not all be good news, because in Greece what we saw last Sunday was rather reminiscent of the German election of 1932. We saw the status quo centre collapse and the extremes of right and left rise. You know, this project could even cause the rebirth of National Socialism in Europe. We are headed the wrong way. We must break up the Eurozone. We must set those Mediterranean countries free. We must try to build a Europe. I want a Europe, but a Europe based on trade. A Europe based on cooperation, a Europe based on us sitting round the table and agreeing sensible rules on crime and the environment. We can do all of those things, but we cannot do it if we're asked to rally behind that flag. I owe no allegiance to that flag, and nor do most of the people in Europe either.
See, this is the problem. The United States of America has been so weaned off the separate states, but look how much allegiance we still have to our state. We are not all from New Jersey. We don't mind New Jersey. You know, New Jersey, we're all Americans, et cetera, et cetera. But if I have to bail out California, I'm sorry, California, that ain't my deal. You guys did your own thing, and it was insane. We believe, at least I believe, I speak for me, I wanted to live in California my whole life. I don't live in California. I'd love to have my business in California. I don't have my business in California because you're nuts. You're out of your mind nuts. And you can't. I'm a West Coast guy. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. You know what, Washington? You're nuts. So is Oregon. You're crazy. Would I like to live in Seattle? Sure. Would I like to live in Portland? You bet. Would I like to live in Southern California? You bet. I'm not starting a business there. There's no way to survive.
Millions of people are exiting California and moving to places like Texas for those exact reasons.
Texas gains, what is it, Pat? 200?
A day.
200 Californians a day.
1,200 people a day, but 200 from California.
Let me tell you something. If you bring your California nonsense to Texas and you wreck this state, we're going to chase you back. We live in places where we make choices. And you made your choice, and I'm not interested. You made your choice, and I'm not going to bail you out. But this is worse. I mean, in America, we're still all Americans. They're not. They're not all Swedes. They don't look at it. We're all Italians now. We're all Greeks now. They don't look at it that way. They still have national pride. So what happens? National socialism. That's what happened with Germany. National socialism. It was communism or socialism, and the fascists decided we're just going to make it all about Germany, and they did. You don't want that anymore. And by having this EU flag, it doesn't mean anything to anybody. And I'm sorry, but there is something to be said for Germany. There is something to be said for London. I don't like it when I go over someplace. I don't like the fact that I can go from one town to the next, and it's all the same stores.
Well, imagine it here. Imagine if we said, yay, North America. I mean, nobody would care about that. Nobody would care about a North American Union. What we care about is the United States.
And the more and the more local you get, the more you care.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're 200 and some years into this deal where we're all one. We're all Americans. We care about Canada. We care about Mexico, but I don't really care. If we're all under one flag, what? No, thank you. This leads to National Socialism nightmares. And that's where they're leading. And he is exactly right. You got to stop this train and get off it right now.